Hello, friends. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Jobu, and as always, thank you for watching, subscribing, and commenting on the Jobu Report. We've pushed past 4,000. We're headed to 5,000, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys. Now, we've got the New York Giants here in Week 14, and can you believe how fast this season is going by? I know I can't. Before you know it, we're going to have the playoffs, the Super Bowl, and then it's the off season. So it's time to really start enjoying these games. But before I get to the New York Giants, I want to share actually a great text message I got today, which was just out of the blue. It's a number I didn't even recognize. And it started like this. Hey, Mark, Doc Basil here. My son Quentin, who is a huge Dallas Cowboy fan, well, maybe not compared to you, was telling me about this clips he was watching of this dude who's referenced Richie Pettibone in one of his clips and said, I might know him. Richie Pettibone being one of the sons of a former Dallas Cowboy, Washington Redskin defensive coordinator. And he knew because we went to school together. Doc Basil was actually a year older than me, and he was one hell of a running back. Dude was 6'2", about 220 pounds, and was running people over left and right. Played football at West Virginia University. So his son is Quentin. Thank you for subscribing and being part of the Joby Report and getting me and your dad back together. And you are welcome anytime to come down to Joby's Man Cave, and maybe I can get you and your dad to come over and watch a game or so over the Christmas holiday. But I'm going to go ahead and embarrass Doc and his son because Doc was actually voted, I've got my old high school yearbook, voted best personality. Let's see if we can get that picture there up on the screen, along with a picture of him back in our days. Yeah, we played football, and no, it wasn't leather helmets back then, okay? But football was a lot different back then than it is now. I mean, you know, we were lucky to have water breaks and things. But anyway, I digress. First thing I want to get to is Jerry Jones' comments. Jerry Jones, that a lot of the talking heads like Stephen A. Smith and all that are running with, that Jerry Jones is going to mess up the Dallas Cowboys because he still wants Tony Romo to play. I put a video up earlier with the clips about it. Jerry basically said that, you know, it's not over with Tony Romo. He'd like to see him have a part in making a run to the Super Bowl and yada, yada, yada. So, of course, the talking heads have taken that as Jerry Jones wants Dak Prescott to get hurt and is throwing shade on Dak Prescott because he wants Tony Romo, his quote-unquote adopted son, to win the Super Bowl. Well, here's the thing. Jerry Jones has said a lot of things over the years. I mean, we had the glory holes. We had the good old Brandon Wheaton throws a great deep ball, and he feels confident having Brandon Wheaton. We had AP coming to Dallas. We had RG3 coming to Dallas. We had drafting Johnny Manziel, and even after Johnny Manziel a year later being the crackhead that he became, you know, was talking about him in Dallas. Jerry says a lot of things. But here's the thing. Years ago, you should have paid attention to what Jerry said when Jerry used to be on the sidelines in the fourth quarters, because he was really running things. And a lot of the things that they did were because of Jerry Jones. Well, here's the thing. Stephen Jones is running it. I've got it under good authority from reliable sources. Stephen Jones is running the organization. That's why you see guys like Will McRae in the scouting department and why they've done so well with building an offensive line. They're building the team from the lines out. You see it being managed well with the cap. You see the team going young. You see the team not going out and signing huge free agents, big splash names, because Jerry Jones is not in charge. What they're letting Jerry do is, Jerry, go be Jerry. Say what you want, do what you want, whatever. We'll take care of the team over here. You get all the publicity that you want. You get all the attention. You get everybody following you. But we're going to take care of business and win over here. So that's what you got to understand with the situation. Take what Jerry says with a grain of salt, throw it over your shoulder, because that's all it is. So now, we've got the big game Sunday at Giant Stadium, where the Dallas Cowboys over the last 4 years have been 3-1. That's since Joe Boo actually went to New York his first time in 2012. Now, the weather conditions could be a factor, because around kickoff, it's going to be around 32 degrees with the temperatures dropping, possible rain mixing with snow. So we might have a sloppy field. We might have some rough conditions, which I think will favor the Dallas Cowboys, because we've got that great offensive line, that's averaging 161.9 yards per game rushing, as opposed to the New York Giants, which are 31st rushing the ball at 77.5 yards a game. And to make matters worse, they were thinking that Shane Vereen was going to be back, and it's looking like he probably won't, as well as Justin Pugh. So that offense, the same offense that only scored 20 points against the Browns, may have a little hard time between passing the ball with the wind swirling around at MetLife, because they always swirl around, and the bad weather and bad field conditions. So that favors definitely the Dallas Cowboys. The other thing, of course, is JPP has gone on that defense of theirs. Well, when you take the other ends, other than Vernon, the other two ends they have a total of 2.5 career sacks. So you don't have a whole lot of pressure, and you don't have a lot of run-stopping ability there. So, of course, the Dallas Cowboys should be able to run and play action, dink and dunk, if you want to call it, the ball, control the clock, and run away with the game. I don't see the Giants being that good of a team. You hear the talking heads talking about how good the Giants are. They had the 6-game winning streak. Well, let's look at it this way. The Giants' offense is 26th in the league. 26. They only score an average of 20.4 points a game. Eli Manning has thrown 13 interceptions. And when you look at the 6 games that they won in a row, you had the Ravens. Good team, probably a playoff team. Quality win. Then you had the Rams with Jeff Fisher, which I still don't understand how they got a contract extension for him. I mean, when you can't even find the challenge flag, you got a problem. You have the Eagles, and we're not talking about the first 3 weeks of the season Eagles. We have Pennsylvania burned down Eagles that are not a good team at all. Then you had the Bengals, who are, I believe, 4-7-1, and they just got one of those ones last week against the Bengals. Excuse me, not against the Bengals. They just got one of those ones against the Eagles. You had the Bad New Bears, another pathetic team, and then you had the Cleveland Doo-Doo Browns. Not a lot of powerhouses in there. And then they got their butts handed to them by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So all of a sudden, are they really that good of a team? Or do they just happen to play a lot of bad teams? Now take a look at the last 4 games the Cowboys have played. Pittsburgh Steelers, then played the Ravens, turned around, and 4 days later played the Redskins, and then played the Vikings. You're talking about some of the best offenses in the NFL and some of the best defenses, and they came through with flying colors. So I look at this game, and on paper, there's no way in the world that this should even be a match. The Dallas Cowboys are a far superior team than they were in Week 1, where they should have actually had that victory when they didn't play as well as they do now. Now, again, what do I know? I'm just a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. And, damn, Joe Boo needs a refill. So, hopefully, our Dallas Cowboys will get the victory, win the division, Seattle lose, along with Detroit, and we wrap up home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. And friends, be careful out there. Have a great night, and thank you again for watching me and Joe Boo with the Joe Boo Report. Up your butt, Giants.